Hello and namaste. Welcome to Temples, Books and Science. In the past few weeks, there has been a lot of discussion on Sanatana Dharma and its role in perpetuating the evils of caste system. Today, I want to share with you a perspective on this subject from Bhagavad Gita. What is Varnashrama Dharma? How was it envisioned? And how is it related to the caste system? Watch this video to know more.
In this verse, Krishna talks about the Chatur Varna, which is the classification of the society into four categories called Varnas. This Varna system of classification is often confused with caste or jati. And our caste system is held up as an example of all that is evil about our religion. That is why I wanted to deep dive into this verse and explain how the Varna classification was done in the Vedic period. Chaturvarnyam maya shrishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha. Krishna says, I created the four Varnas based on guna and karma. The four Varnas are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. This classification is based on two criteria according to Krishna. The first criterion is the guna of a person. Let us do a quick recap of the three gunas of Maya. Sattva guna is characterized by brilliance, knowledge, truth and good character. The characteristic of Rajoguna is passion, action, desire and violence. The characteristic of Tamoguna is laziness, inertia, ignorance and lack of good values. In the classification of Varnas based on guna, the dominant gunas of a person is taken as the criterion for the classification. So a guna brahmana is one whose dominant guna is sattva guna, followed by rajoguna and then tamoguna. A guna brahmana is identified by his temperament and not by his birth. He is passionate about learning, he is of good character, his activities are sattvic. A guna kshatriya is one whose dominant guna is rajas, followed by sattva guna, followed by tamoguna. A guna kshatriya will be an action-oriented person. He will fight for righteous causes. He is not the kind of person who will stay silent and watch passively. If he can do something about it, he will do it. A guna vaishya is one whose dominant guna is rajas, followed by tamas and then sattva guna. A guna vaishya is a materialistic person interested in personal gain and accumulation of wealth for himself. A guna shudra is one whose dominant guna is tamas, followed by rajas and then sattva guna. A guna shudra is one who has no values, who is dishonest, ignorant and lazy, a person who is a burden on the society. It should be noted that this is not a modern interpretation of the Varna system. This is based on Vedic teachings. There are many stories in the Vedas which emphasize that guna is the criteria that determines a person's Varna. In Chandogya Upanishad, there is a story about a boy called Satyakama who was the son of a prostitute. He wanted to learn the Vedas. So he approached Gautama Rishi and asked him if he could live in his ashram and learn. Gautama asked him, "Introduce yourself. Tell me who your parents are." Satyakama replies, "My mother's name is Jabala. I don't know who my father is because my mother was a prostitute." Gautama Rishi replies, "My dear son, I accept you as my disciple because you are a great Brahmana. Only a Brahmana can speak such a difficult truth. Vedas reiterate, it does not matter who you are born to. What matters is your character." Take Vedavyasa for instance. He was an illegitimate son of a fisherwoman. Look what his status is in the pantheon of gurus. He divided the Vedas and wrote most of the Puranas. Valmiki, who wrote Ramayana, was a tribal and a thief before he became Valmiki. Whereas many of our Rakshasas like Ravana and Hiranyakashipu were Brahmins if you go by their birth. These are just a few examples which show that the greatness of a person is based on his guna and not his birth. Shankaracharya in his famous work Viveka Chudamani says this: Janmana jayate shudraha samskarad vija uchyate vedapatad bhavet vipraha brahma janati brahmanaha. Everyone is a Shudra by birth. When he acquires the right values and becomes cultured, he is born again. He becomes a Dvija. When he learns the Vedas, he becomes Vipra, a wise man. Only when he knows Brahman, he becomes a Brahmana. By this definition, only a Jnani can be called a Brahmana. This is the first method of classification which is based on the inherent character of a person. Only in this method of classification, a person can be termed as superior or inferior. A Guna Brahmana is definitely greater than a Guna Shudra. It is same as saying a learned person with good values is superior to an ignorant person lacking in character. The next method of classification is based on karma, that is, by occasion. In this method of classification, people in the knowledge sector are Brahmanas. These are teachers, researchers, gurus, etc. People who preserve and aid in the spread of knowledge. In the Vedic age, Vedas were the repository of all knowledge. The word Veda itself means knowledge. So Karma Brahmanas were people who preserved and propagated Vedas. Karma Kshatriyas are warriors, people who fight for the good of the society. A Karma Vaishya is a businessman, an entrepreneur. A Karma Shudra is anyone who works for a master. It should be noted that the most suitable occasion for a Guna Brahmana was the karma of a Brahmana. That is learning, teaching and preserving knowledge. In our Shastras, we are not supposed to charge a fee for teaching. So a Guna Brahmana who is introspective, not greedy and leads a simple life is best suited for this vocation. Similarly, a Guna Kshatriya who is action oriented and believes in fighting for righteous causes was best suited to be a warrior. A Guna Vaishya was suited to be an entrepreneur. A Guna Shudra whose temperament is characterized by ignorance and laziness was best suited to work under a master who could give him instructions and supervise him. However, this is not a rule though. So a person can be a Brahmana because of his guna and a Shudra based on his vocation. Similarly, a Karma Vaishya can be a Guna Brahmana or a Guna Shudra. In today's world, the vast majority of us who work for someone else, either in corporate sector or other fields, are Shudras, if you go by the karma-based classification. Secondly, you can never claim superiority or inferiority based on your karma. A Brahmana's occasion is as important as Shudra's occasion for the society to function. In the Vedic hymn Purusha Suktam, God is described as a cosmic being who is made up of all the four classes of people. In his head are the Brahmanas because they are the repository of knowledge. In his arms are the Kshatriyas who fight and protect the society. In his stomach are the Vaishyas who nourish the society with their economic activity. And in his legs are the Shudras who support the society and help it to move forward. This is how Varnas were classified based on the nature of a person and his profession. This is what Krishna means when he says, Chatur Varnyam Maya Shishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. Then what is Jati or caste? The word Jati is derived from the Sanskrit root Ja, meaning to be born. A child born to a person whose vocation or karma is that of a Brahmana becomes Brahmana by default. Since children were trained from childhood in their parents' vocation, they took on the same profession. Similarly, Kshatriyas trained their children in the art of war and Vaishya's children became entrepreneurs. Karma based classification of Varnas became an inheritance. You can see something similar happening even today. Doctors' children becoming doctors, businessmen's children taking on their parents' business, politicians' children becoming politicians. The irony of the modern day caste system is that people are not pursuing their ancestors' vocation anymore. Neither by their guna nor by their karma they belong to the caste they are born into. So their caste is just a tag which carries no meaning. It is important to understand that this is not how the Vedic society was envisioned. The Varna classification was based on guna and karma of a person and not based on his birth.
After watching this, people may say, maybe it was envisioned like this, but that is not how caste system is being practiced today. For that, you must blame human beings, not Sanatana Dharma. Is there any system, any world order which has not been misused and abused by human beings? Calling for abolition of Sanatana Dharma because of evils of caste system is like calling for the abolition of physics because of nuclear weapons. The very same knowledge which gave us the supercomputers and helped us land on the moon also enabled us to create the atom bomb. What would our life be like without physics? There is no part of the world we live in that has not benefited from the knowledge of physics. Similarly, Sanatana Dharma has shaped every aspect of our society and has been a force for good for thousands of years. It is a real testament to its timelessness that it is relevant even today as it was 4,000 years ago. That's it from me. Thank you for watching. I have started a Telegram channel to regularly provide updates on videos I post. If you are interested, please join the community. You can find the link in the description below. Please like this video and share it with like-minded people. If you have not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. Thank you once again for watching. Until next time, Namaste.